My memo tonight is about that brief visit to the Kenyan parliament by a 5-month-old baby. The baby was brought in by her mother, a legislator, and the visit caused quite a stir, temporarily halting business in the house. The baby belonged to Kwale Women Representative Zulekha Juma Hassan, who, because of what she described as an emergency, could not leave the baby at home and had no choice but to carry her to work. In this case, her workplace is the National Assembly. But then came the matter of standing orders, which strictly regarded the baby as a stranger in the house. Now, one may have no issue with the conservative standing orders, but a lot of people would have a problem with the over-the-top reaction of some of the legislators to the baby's presence in the house. They jumped up their seats as if some baby-shy seeking explosive had been introduced to the chamber. They spoke and pleaded with the speaker with frantic urgency, some wailing that they have never seen anything like that baby since 1963. Some sounded unsafe, as if the baby was playing with some ticking time bomb. All the while, the straight face and calmness of the baby's mother, Zulekha Hassan, painted the image of a drama-free matron in charge, reigning cool over parliamentary chaos. Then came the speaker, or acting speaker was it, eager to show the 5-month-old who is in charge. He firmly threw MP Zulekha out and, in a hint of force, asked the sergeant-at-arms to oversee the ejection. Now, that was not really necessary in my view. The Speaker and MPs mistimed their decisiveness and purported commitment to standing orders. Isn't this the same house where members Charles Njagwa and Babu Owino engaged in a physical fight? Isn't it the same parliament that found time to debate about legislators' handbag? Do we forget that shameful free-for-all water splash incident one night in Parliament? The shouting, the insults, the tearing of order papers, the splashing of water on each other? Wasn't that more outrageous than a baby on her elected mother's lap? The baby incident has turned out egg in the face of Parliament, with international headlines not sounding complimentary at all. This in comparison to instances in other countries where female legislators received far better treatment in such situations. Larissa Waters, an Australian lawmaker, was hailed as a barrier breaker in 2017 when she breastfed her newborn daughter in Parliament. A year later, an Icelandic member of Parliament received worldwide attention when she addressed Parliament without interrupting her baby's breastfeeding. Last year, New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern made history as the first world leader to attend the UN General Assembly meeting with her baby in tow. There are precedents all over, and the Kenyan Parliament had no reason to behave the way it did towards fellow parliamentarian Zulekha and her baby. That was out of order. And Mr. Speaker, I beg to move. That is my memo.
On my kicker tonight, I step back and donate my time to an interesting video clip I came across on the social media. I do not know how old the undated clip is, and I do not know the two men appearing on it, or indeed the third character, a sheep that seemingly plays a star role in the video clip. All I can say, the video is deeply illustrative. Take a look.
Anasema serikali Habana na hivi lakini hapana na serikali tuna promise nyinyi wananchi, sisi nyinyi wananchi mtapata vitu zenu, ndio hii serikali inatengeneza nyinyi wananchi. 2022 kila kitu itakuwa sawa. Mta serikali account. Serikali account inasema ni national. Nimenyang'anywa bana. Ngoja bana. Ile serikali ya kutuspa. Mambo ya devolution. Tunakula pamoja. Unaona gani? Hamna gani? Pesa kwa kidogo. Ndio hiyo. Enda account. Enda national. Enda account. Enda national. Kuna maneno. Enda account. Enda national. Hiyo haiko devolve ama? Hii ni mambo devolve government. Enda ile before agenda. Hii vitu imedevolviwa. Enda account.
Need I say more? If you missed the story, the video is a sharp critique, even if hilarious, of devolution, The two men eating represented the county and national governments, while the sheep represents you and me, the Mwananchi. Now, get back to your pen. That's my kicker.
At least I don't have a video. I wish I had one, but for 2 months, Kenyans have been treated to an ugly circus featuring the two chambers of parliament, the National Assembly and the Senate, cannot agree on the amount of money that should be allocated to county governments. As a result, the 47 devolved units are staring at a monumental financial crisis and total paralysis of service delivery. Yet these lawmakers wax lyrical on how much they support, honor, and defend devolution, one of the key pillars of the 2010 Constitution. The parliamentarians have today proceeded on a month-long break, but it is beyond imagination that they have opted for a recess before they can settle the Division of Revenue Bill. Yesterday, the Senate amended the second Division of Revenue Bill that originated from the National Assembly and recommended a 335.6 billion shillings allocation to counties as shareable revenue. The National Assembly is stuck at 316.5 billion shillings, a figure that is supported by President Uhuru Kenyatta and the National Treasury. A dispute has been declared and a mediation process must kick off to try one more time to broker a consensus figure between the two houses. That deal is unlikely to be achieved before next week, when county government workers down their tools over delayed salaries. One, because the MPs are too tired to work for a few more days, and two, because they haven't shown any appetite of resolving this issue. So when county workers go on strike next week, it is Wanjiku who will suffer. It is Wanjiku and her children who will lack medical care, yet our lawmakers who are embroiled in an unreasonable ego contest have access to the best medical facilities locally and abroad, courtesy of the tax-paying Wanjiku. Make no mistake, the money that senators and National Assembly members are quarreling over belongs to Wanjiku, the same citizen whose interest these leaders swore to faithfully protect. That a dispute over revenue sharing can drag on for 2 months is an indictment on our choices at the ballot as the electorate. That county workers have not received their July salaries due to the raging standoff, yet members of the two warring houses pocketed their fat paychecks without any delay and without any mediation, is a bitter confirmation that when two bulls fight, the grass suffers. Finally, the protracted feuds between the two chambers of parliament puts on the spot the two speakers in the august body, Justin Muturi and Ken Lusaka. How and why they cannot call their members to order is beyond imagination. It does not matter how many times they remind us they support devolution. If they don't resolve this and fast, the leadership of the 12th Parliament will go down history as greedy, inept, uncaring, unresponsive, and yes, anti-devolution. That's my punchline.
Now, my angle tonight is about good manners, or in this case, shall we say, lack of good manners. This afternoon, the High Court affirmed an earlier decision by a lower court that Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu should keep off his offices until his current case is heard and determined, as lawyers would say. The case in question involves 588 million shillings, and Waititu, alongside others, is accused of offenses such as fraud, money laundering, conflict of interest, abuse of office, and dealing in suspect property. Now, it requires no genius to know that these alleged crimes are indeed very serious crimes. That is why tonight, I dare say, Waititu did not need to wait for any court to tell him to stay away from this foul air of suspicion over his head. You see, the job of a governor is a serious job. Like all other state officers, a governor holds a position of trust. Here is the key word: trust. The voters in Kiambu, all 1.2 million of them, trusted him to do the right thing. They trusted him to take care of the money allocated to the county from the exchequer and that which is collected locally. They trusted him to make every decision in their interest and their interest alone. And maybe he has done all that. But we have before a court of law a case that is essentially putting that into question. Isn't that so big a deal that the governor should, on his own volition, without any prompting by the courts, just decide to dedicate all his efforts to clearing his name? Why does a judge need to tell him that? How does he feel walking around the county with that heavy cloud of suspicion hanging over his head? Its stench enveloping every inch of the county. Now, Justice Mumbi Ngugi could not have put this any better. She simply wondered how on earth someone accused of embezzling county funds would be the very person presiding over the management of the remaining funds of the same county. This is not just about Governor Waititu, by the way. This is about what is wrong with us. This is about what is wrong with the conception of political leadership in this country. If you see leadership as serving the people, you will surely not have a problem stepping aside in order to give the people time to assess the facts independently and, if need be, regain their trust in you. There are many exemplars of this attitude toward leadership in the world. But tonight I choose to remember just one. It concerns the anti-terror police chief in the UK, Bob Quick, who 10 years ago resigned simply because he was photographed with a sensitive document, a small section of it clearly visible. Yes, he resigned because he did not hold the file properly, and so a photographer managed to capture a small part of the sensitive information. Think about that. He was not a terrorist, he was simply careless, but he resigned. No judge needed to guide him out. Ladies and gentlemen, Justice Mumbi Ngugi had a terminology for this. She called it political hygiene. It is like brushing your teeth or washing your socks or clearing the bushes in your backyard. That is what hygiene means. Our courts have many cases before them. They are always bogged down by a backlog running back many years. Let's spare them the drama. I won't even talk about chapter 6. I will keep it basic. This is like brushing your teeth. Let's just do it. That's my angle tonight.
Let's just do it.
Yes, let's just do it.
Let's just do it. Thank you,
Remember,
gentlemen.
after the handshake, we forgot about injustices done to us the same way as the 2007 elections. When we get to 2022, the situation will go back to stage one. That's a very dark projection. Yes, by one Gideon.
Gideon, thank you so much. Thank you for tweeting, for retweeting, and for watching the show. Thank you, gentlemen.